Hey guys, Coach Curto from Icons here. A couple of days ago I spoke about a team culture and how it's super important, and for me it is. It's just massive. And one of the big things that has come around is it identified, a couple of core things that every culture has. And one of the big ones that stuck out for me was team trust. It's how do you create a trusting mechanism in a side that is bulletproof. Now, I after this, I spoke with a lot of players after discovering this, and I spoke to a lot of players on do they trust each other. And you get this, out of 20 people I spoke to, 19 came back with the exact same answer in different context. All right? They said, yeah, we got each other's back and all that, but. Yeah, we trust each other and all that, but. Now, as soon as there is a but, as soon as there is a smidgen of doubt, you do not have trust. Trust is not something that is negotiable. Trust does not come at 99.99%. Trust is 100 or 0. You can't trust someone a little bit because that's not the true purpose and true meaning of trust. You might, I believe them a little bit. I can rely on them a little bit, but you do not trust them because trust incorporates all those characteristics to have. And if you don't have one, you have none. And it's really kind of interesting because it's, how do you build team trust? And, it's taken me a few weeks to kind of build up on this because it really sparked something in me. And I watched my boys here in Russia and I watched their trainings, and I saw it when I went to South Africa. And, you see guys who give 100%, and you see guys who give 100% of everything. Like if they were to give you any more, they would probably die in effort, in attitude, in encouragement, in voice, in so many things in training. Then you have guys who give all they can at that time. And this is where it kind of sparked me to kind of go, well, hey, hold on a second. If I'm a player and I look over and let's say the coach has given us, a 100-meter sprint, and I sprint 90 meters and then slow up. In the back of my head, I look at that guy who sprinted 90 meters. If I've gone 100, let's say I go 100, and I look at the guy who went 90 and he's just pulled up. And I think, hold on a second, he's not giving everything. Then I go, well, if he's pulling up at 90, I'll go 92. And I pull up at 90. Then there's someone else who'll do the same thing. And it kind of starts as soon as you fall 1% short of your target, exertion or requirement or accountability, whatever you want to call it, because we can go into many different topics here. I'm talking about effort and training. As soon as you bark off by 1%, you're done. Your team is done. And it really kind of hit home for me more because I've seen this photo shared, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it shared as well, where there's that line. It's an American football photo. There's the line and there's a group of 30 people and there's one guy falling short. The line at the back looks like everyone's hitting the line. Then there's one guy close to the camera who's falling short. And the captions around something like, discipline around not making the line. But what I see in that same photo, and I don't know if I'm weird. Well, I know I'm weird, but I don't know whether other people have seen this. What I see, go back and look at that photo. I'll try and tag it in the comments of this video. Go back and look at that photo and see the guy behind him. So there's a line of people who've hit the line, out of the 30, let's say 27 have hit the line. 28 is, half a meter short, not even half a meter, let's say a foot, 20 centimeters short. And the next guy is pulling up even shorter than him. So how that comes into trust is if you're the 27 guys who are on the field who see that and know that and see that one guy falling short, you then also see the one guy who fell even more shorter because he pulled up early because the guy ahead of him pulled up early. So you've created this chain reaction by just missing a 20 centimeter mark. Let's say it's 2 centimeters, a 2 centimeter mark on a drill. Now, in rugby, in the current context of the world and how this game is advancing, and I'll talk about sevens here, but you could take this into any kind of other sport. 2 centimeters is the difference between first place and potentially fifth or sixth. Because at any time over a weekend of competition, 2 centimeters can kick you out of the top comp. So you could finish maybe even ninth because of 2 centimeters. Or you could win because of 2 centimeters. Now, you compound that effect over a whole team where now all of a sudden there's a guy in the team, let's say it's less than 10% of the whole team, or even one guy, whatever you want to use, don't make the line or don't make 50 out of 50 reps. They do 48. When the team stops doing push-ups, they stop. Yet I know they haven't done 50. I know they've only done 47. I'm in the gym pushing 80% of my maxes because that's what the program says. I'm hitting my 90 degrees in my squat. I'm coming up. I'm using my 90-second rest period, and I see a guy over there doing 5 kilos lighter, or he's not going all the way down, or he's not rolling enough, or he's not prehabbing enough, or he's not eating right. I don't believe in that player. I don't trust him. You don't trust him. On the field, I am going to second guess his ability to have my back in a situation where I'm all out, I'm all in, I've committed everything, and he's not there. Whether he's telling me he is, I don't believe him. There's a smidgen of doubt. A smidgen of doubt. And it's funny because you go and you talk about the All Blacks, who are the greatest rugby team on the planet at the moment. Who cares if they win or lose a couple? They are the greatest rugby team on the planet at the moment for this one reason in my eyes. And it's this one reason in my eyes is they have a culture that breeds trust. It breeds this mechanism of, I trust the guy next to me to have my back, to do the right thing, to do everything, no matter what. And if they get small parts where they get it wrong, they cut it out. Where I guarantee you look at the other maybe 4 or 5 nations in the world, especially we're talking about 15s now, go bonkers with their teams and don't get results, they don't trust each other. They do not trust each other. 100%. They might say it, they might do it in 4 out of 5 things, but if you're not 5 out of 5, you're nothing. And from a coach's perspective, you have to find a way to make your team trust each other no matter what. Because trust breeds belief. And belief actually takes your effort and results to the next level because you can unlock a different approach to training. You're unlocking a different mental attitude towards recovery, towards nutrition, towards your output of performance, towards your video sessions. I've watched so many video sessions over the last 12 months where guys have their fucking phones in their pockets. It's small things like this. A rugby player commits 10 hours a week, maybe 20 hours a week to their actual performance. Let's say if you're bonkers, you're 25. 25 hours a week, and you can't put that 25 hours into 100% of output, then I don't trust you. Something on the field is going to create a disbelief and distrust because I know that you haven't given it your all. And it is cancer-like, that kind of attitude, even though sometimes you might not see it on the outside. Guys put in, they give it their all, they give everything within themselves. Trust is created outside of yourself. It's created in a world where you're not comfortable. It's created in a world where you're doing things you've never done before. It's created in a world where you give more than you've ever been able to give before. And that's what it's about. It's about having and finding a group of individuals or creating a group of individuals through, every coach will have their own mechanisms on doing this. And it comes down that trust is a super important part of team culture that if you don't have it, you ain't got it. And for me, if you're trying to build team culture, then I would be looking into how does your team trust each other, and not from a verbal sense. from a, do you believe that that guy does every single rep in a session? Because they'll look at you and you'll see it in their eyes. Because I've asked the same question, do you believe he gives everything his all? And they don't answer immediately, then they have doubt in their head. And one person who has doubt about another player is literally going to implode. It implodes on the field. It causes anger, it causes disbelief, it causes frustration, and that's a failing culture. All right, guys, that's a small thing on trust for me around team culture. If you've got any questions about it, I'd love to get your feedback. I'd love to hear your responses. It's a huge thing for me on trust in the team culture environment. So if you've got a different perspective, throw it up too, because I love being challenged around this and I want to learn what other people are thinking. So, all right, guys, Coach Curto from Icons Rugby. I'm out. Peace.